Hi, my name's Edward Drake, though I actually go by Joe. First, let me apologize for accidentally looking away from the camera as I'm using my laptop as a teleprompter. There's high tech, there's low tech, then there's Joe Tech. To put in plain terms, I'm getting raw deal from the Department of Veterans Affairs. Thank you for taking the time to take a look at this. Sorry, no cute kids or animals in this video. I try to work in the confines of the system, but the system has failed me. This is part one of my story. If you're interested in the details of this, please take a look at part two of this tale. First, I want to let you know that the Wounded Warrior Project acts as my representatives for this action. One absolute first-class organization. Actually, the individual who serves as our personal advocate cautioned me against taking the step as it could possibly slow down my appeal process. At this point, I simply no longer care. I've lost more sleep during this adventure and have undergone so much stress that it's taken on a life of its own. I appreciate that Congress is taking positive steps towards fixing the VA. Unfortunately, throwing money at the problem is not going to drive the solution. Rather, a fundamental shift in the organizational paradigm is needed. Also, I'm not going to be putting any pictures on my personal life in this video, though it may seem contrarian, and my personal issue will start this whole process. I don't want to personalize this video as to where I take away from the greater issue itself. However, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I grew up in Fort Lauderdale and now live in Gainesville. My proudest accomplishments are my two sons. The oldest is a junior at FSU, the youngest is a 7th grader here in Gainesville. Thank goodness I got them right. Conversely, my biggest regret is not being a bigger participant in their lives. I had such dreams of being an awesome father when my oldest was born. Unfortunately, I was certainly just 5 months old. I'm sorry, guys. I guess the next shade of mark should be involved being a loving husband. Didn't quite work out that way. A couple years ago, my ex-wife informed me she no longer loved me, but instead was in love with the running partner, completely out of the blue. First time we'd ever discussed this. Call me romantic, but this is not the way I expected my marriage to end after 24 years. However, ex-wife and F-squared have caused me to hone my literary skills as I continually update my online dating profile, so it's not just get away potential dates, while at the same time helping them avoid disappointment when they meet me in person for the first time. As I said, I was born in Florida, did the majority of my growing up in Fort Lauderdale. I had a wonderful set of parents, 2 great little brothers, or younger brothers, and a solid middle class lifestyle. Unfortunately, I felt the need to rebel, but I really didn't have anything to rebel against. I'll sum it up by saying I was a jerk of a son, and even a bigger jerk of a big brother. I'm very surprised and extraordinarily thankful they all still love me, and I absolutely wish I could have a do-over of those years. I was determined to blaze my path. I got my scuba certification at 15, soloed plane when I was 16, and started skydiving on F-17. Not sure the motivation behind it, but I took vocational education my senior year in high school. It brought my GPA up, but I still graduated in the bottom third of my class. 2 years after graduation, I began work as an hour worker. After some interesting series of events, I ended up at the University of Florida. As I tell people though, while I excelled socially, didn't do quite so well academically. My bank account was drying up, so I decided to quit college after a year and a half and join the Army. My dad thought it was a great idea. I think my mom cried. I enlisted as an infantryman in February 1983. After 2.5 years of enlisted service, I entered West Point. This included a stint at West Point Prep School, where I was dragged from high school geometry to college calculus in 9 months. I graduated from West Point in 1989 and the top 10% of my class and was commissioned as combat engineer. I served as an officer for 6 years, including serving as a sapper in the Persian Gulf War. My platoon was assigned to the 1st Armored Division Cavalry Squadron, and we served as the division's engineer scout platoon. Though I was an engineer officer, I attended the infantry officer basic course. The infantry officer advanced class, and was eventually assigned to the 24th Infantry Division. In February 1993, I was injured in April 1995 during officer PT. Not a very exciting tale, but that's the way it happened. I wasn't the picture of physical struggles, but I am a far different person than I am now. I weighed 60 pounds more. I previously bent 320 pounds, squatted 475 pounds, and ran a marathon of 6-minute miles. I was struck in the back of the neck, and 4 days later, suffered a vertebral artery dissection. The vertebral arteries are the skeletal cause of the carotid arteries. The vertebral arteries supply blood to the posterior portion of the brain. Unfortunately, it took me a few days to realize that my artery was bleeding into my head. An intracranial pressure ICP bolt was drilled in my forehead in an attempt to reduce my intracranial pressure. For reference, a normal ICP is between 10 to 12 millimeters of water. My neurologist lists my last few readings at 120 plus millimeters of water. I asked him why I kept writing 120 plus. He simply said at that time he just didn't think about it anymore. I was given a 5% chance of survival. Unfortunately, the bolt didn't work. A unique thing about their vertebral arteries is that they run through the spinal cord. It's only the posterior portion of my 2 upper vertebrae had to be removed to repair it. I have also been given estimates that between 40 and 50% of my cerebellum was removed. Finally, a piece of my skull about the size of a silver dollar was removed to relieve the pressure in my head. This area back here. Full leak through the scar for about a year, so the skull was never replaced. During my recovery, I also developed a lung infection. A thoracotomy was performed to scrape the pus sacs from my lungs. I developed meningitis twice and now suffer from constant pain in the area. I spent about 3.5 months as a patient in the Miami VA hospital after initially spending 6 weeks in the civilian hospital in Savannah. They waited so long to transfer me to the Miami VA because my doctors didn't think I'd survive the medevac flight till then. The news was less than cheerful at the Miami VA. My physiatrist, no, it's not a mispronunciation, believed I'd never walk or speak again. She told my family her goal for me was to transfer from a bed to a wheelchair and to the toilet. 5 years later, I graduated from the University of Florida with an MBA and a law degree. Out of the blue, nearly 18 years after being injured, I was notified that I had to undergo a CMP exam. I reported on a Saturday morning for my 8 a.m. exam. I wasn't actually seen until 8:32. I remember at the time specifically because I had to take my son to a soccer game later that morning. The doctor apologized for being late, but said the delay was due to her conducting a thorough examination of my records. What followed was a physical examination that was less intense than the physical exams I had to go through to play football in high school. The only thing remotely resembling a neurological exam was thrusting the tips of my fingers together like this. And that was it. If you really wanted to get an answer to that question, you should probably ask my dog, because I drop approximately half the food I cook on the floor, and it's a continual race between myself and her to see who gets to it first. I was given a 10% disability rating for neurological deficits. I vomit bile through my nose if I bend over too quickly. I'm in a constant state of vertigo, and I gag at nearly every meal. I've even hacked a peanut M&M through my nose. Not a pleasant experience. There are also times when my body shakes like aeronautic going through withdrawals. I'm not sure if you remember Braulio Castillo, but he was the IRS contractor who was eviscerated by Representative Tammy Duckworth when he testified before Congress. Mr. Castillo twisted his ankle playing football at the prep school and was granted a 30% disability for it. I almost had my cerebellum removed and my brainstem was shoved through the bottom of my skull, yet this is considered 10% disabling. Just opposite, I played football with Mr. Castillo at West Point Prep School. However, on the other end of the spectrum is Greg Gatson. He lost both his legs in combat in Iraq, but remained on active duty and recently retired as a colonel. He also did a bit of acting in the movie Battleship. I also played football with Greg Gatson. Greg, keep up the good fight. I served this country with honor, commitment, and sacrifice. In Carl von Clausew's book on war, published in 1832, the Russian general and military theorist wrote that, quote, war is not merely an act of policy, but a true political instrument, a continuation of political intercourse carried on with other means. I watched with interest recently as the president addressed the nation on how he planned to deal with the terror device. He stated, I quote, "But as Americans, we welcome our responsibility to lead from Europe to Asia, from the far reaches of Africa to the from the far reaches of Africa to war-torn capitals of the Middle East. We stand for freedom, for justice, for dignity." Maybe I'm being selfish, but I sure appreciated someone attacking my dignity as a deputy sheriff accused me of being drunk on Saturday morning at 10 a.m. in a Starbucks parking lot. I can only assume my personal dignity and justice are being sacrificed for the greater good of the world's justice and dignity. Thank you for watching. If you'd like more details about my individual situation, as well as the overall shortcomings of the VA C&P system, please watch part 2 of the presentation. Sorry, no cute kids or animals in that one either. And God bless America.